Thank you all for joining us again this evening. I want to take this opportunity to share with you a little bit of what IDC has been up to in 2022 and look ahead into 2023, what we have on our priority list. 2022 was, of course, a busy year for us, so I'm going to go ahead and just start chronologically at the top of the year in January. In the month of January 2022, after 2 years of pre-trial or no trial detention in Egypt, Rami Kamel, who is a Coptic Christian activist in Egypt, was released from detention. As I said, for over 2 years he was held. No trial, medical issues, and in the middle of COVID, which exacerbated and certainly had the potential to be disastrous for his, given his existing medical state. IDC galvanized Congress. We led a letter which garnered the signatures and support of dozens of members of Congress, which was sent to the State Department to urge pressure on the Egyptian government on the case of Rami Kamel and others like Rami, and there are many of them. We engaged in a series of dialogue and meetings with the Egyptian embassy here in Washington, D.C. To that end. And after years of hard work, not just at IDC, but many other organizations around the world, in fact, Rami was released in January of this year. So in 2023, we look forward to continuing our effort in our advocacy with regard to Egypt and Coptic Christians in Egypt through legislation that we're currently in the process of drafting. IDC emerged also as a strong voice in 2022 on the issue of Iran, specifically the return to an Iran nuclear deal that was continues to be considered at the White House. IDC emerged as a strong voice when the White House was considering possibly taking the IRGC off the list of international terrorist organizations. Bad move if this did happen. But as a result of IDC's advocacy, it did not happen, thankfully. Furthermore, we've urged the White House to condition any future return to an Iran deal on Iran's dismantling of its proxy militias around the globe. We also advocated in Congress for initiatives to combat Hezbollah's money laundering and took a strong stance in solidarity with the patriarch of the Maronite Church in the face of threats by Hezbollah. We emerged as a leader in the initiative to bring attention to the widespread violence against Christians in Nigeria, and we continue to urge the State Department to restore Nigeria's classification as a country of particular concern, and also for the appointment of a special envoy to be stationed on the ground in Nigeria to report back regarding and to monitor the state of affairs for Christians in country. We're already hard at work looking ahead into 2023 in the 118th Congress to highlight key issues in legislation relative to the violence against Christians in Nigeria. We've been working all year with our friends at the Armenian National Committee of America to advocate for Armenian Christians that still suffer to this day from the Azerbaijani aggression that occurred not just in the fall of 2020, but also in 2022 and the ongoing issues facing the Christian community in Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh. We've also taken a strong stand that U.S. arms should not be used against Christians in Nigeria. That includes the sale of F-16s, if that happens, as well as other weapon systems that currently go to Turkey and Azerbaijan. We've also been hard at work urging the U.S. government to take a strong stance against Turkey's military aggression and war crimes against Syriac and Assyrian Christians in northeast Syria and northern Iraq. We're also looking ahead into 2023 on that same issue, already hard at work drafting legislation for the 118th Congress to highlight and address the factors behind the population decline witnessed in Iraq of its one-time populous Christian community. We've partnered with the Fearless Project on the Abraham's Missing Child initiative, which seeks to move the ball forward and leverage the power and the opportunity presented by the Abraham Accords over the last couple of years. The Abraham's Missing Child initiative seeks to use that momentum to bring Christians to the table to improve conditions for Christians throughout the Middle East. IDC convened a groundbreaking conference of legal experts to discuss and examine the use of lawfare as an instrument to safeguard human rights and hold accountable state and non-state violators of human rights. We've also partnered again with the Fearless Project to create a research fellowship to explore radical Sunni ideology and its effects on Christian communities. You'll notice on your tables we have a flyer there that actually foreshadows, I guess you could say, or advertises for a panel event that we have coming up this week on Thursday, the 8th of December, on this very issue, contrasting Sunni ideology or Sunni radical ideology with Shia radical ideology and the effects on Christians in the region. We also look forward to growing the IDC Fellowship Program to include a number of fellowship concepts, including a lawfare fellowship, which would, again, dovetail nicely with the conference that we convened in 2022 to discuss that very issue. We founded and established the CASMA internship program, which serves to develop young leaders interested in public policy and advocacy. We also look to educate the public and continue to move the ball forward in that regard as well. I'm pleased to share with you tonight that IDC will be launching a podcast in January of 2023. Also, a flyer is included on the tables. The podcast will feature the foremost experts of the world discussing issues of history, religion, culture, faith, and politics throughout the Middle East. We're really excited about this project, and we hope you tune in to check us out. One of IDC's greatest and albeit intangible achievements, not just from 2022, but really since 2014, has been IDC's great network of alumni, many of whom are with us here this evening. It's been since 2014 that IDC has been hard at work training, developing, and placing young professionals out in the field at think tanks, academia, and in Congress, and at all other segments of government and non-government private sector positions throughout D.C. to move the ball forward on the issues important to IDC. Growing this network continues to contribute to the cause of in defense of Christians. Without going too long, I'd like to just close with the fact that I think we all share the belief that IDC's mission is a sacred one. We're more than an organization. We do the work of God here in Washington, D.C. We look out for the needy, the defenseless, and we hope to be a voice for the voiceless. It's through your generosity and your generous support that we can continue to make this work possible. So thank you this evening, and I'll go ahead and pass it over to Andrew.